caused some sheer stress on your knee and might have torn your meniscus.
My meniscus? What's that?
Well, it's a piece of cartilage that sits right there in your knee.
Cartilage?
Basketball.
What's that?
Sir, do you need help?
Yeah.
Okay, why don't you come step into my office and we'll diagnose that.
Okay.
Hey doctor, I found this patient on the basketball court and he might have torn his meniscus. Can you any chance see him now?
Yeah, let me examine it. Here, just lay on the table real quick.
Oh, thanks, Doc.
He's in a lot of pain.
Yeah.
Pretty nasty fall.
Seems to be some swelling, some stiffness. Here, can you try and extend your knee? Pain? Yeah.
Painful.
Here, let me, we'll just educate you on what cartilage is real quick. So, cartilage is a connective tissue. There's 3 different types. There's elastic, which is very flexible, found in your ear. There's articular cartilage, also known as hyaline cartilage, which is smooth and tough, which allows gliding between joints and bones. It's minimally flexible and it can be found in your trachea and larynx as well. Also, there's fibrocartilage, which is not so smooth, but it's also more tough and flexible. It can be found in your meniscus and also in your intervertebral disc.
And that's what we're thinking you probably injured today, is your fibrocartilage. And so some characteristics we want you to know about are that your cartilage doesn't actually have any nerve supply. So the pain you're probably feeling is not from your cartilage being injured, it's probably from maybe the ligaments, the bones around it. There's no blood supply, no blood vessels, arteries, veins, and directly to the cells. So your cartilage heals pretty slowly because of that. And also because the chondrocytes are the type of cell that make up your cartilage are in a dense matrix, so it's hard for them to actually get any blood supply or healing. And also, cartilage is pretty tough. It resists tension and compression, so it's actually really hard to damage it, even though it seems like you might have done that today. And then lastly, it's viscoelastic, which means it's time dependent on gravity's effects. And so when you get up in the morning, that's when your cartilage, your intervertebral discs actually compress the most. And that's while you're shorter in the morning than when you're laying down. So let's take a look again. What's going on?
Okay, so since you torn your meniscus, it seems, basically the cartilage that lets the femur and tibia glide has been torn, so that's why, so the bones will now grind against each other, just causing that pain when you extend your knee.
Oh.
So what I would suggest is do some rest, ice compression, elevation. That'll help with the swelling and the healing. And you might need some surgery.
Okay. Thanks, Doc.
Yep.
All right.
Take
care of that guy.
I think I'm all better. Thanks, guys.
What?
That was.
You just wanted to get educated?
I just wanted education.
All right. Have a good day.